You've had the same fight a dozen times and nothing changes. Or maybe you don't even fight anymore. You just coexist. Bills paid, kids fed, completely alone together. If either of those is you, stay with me because talking more isn't going to fix this. You may think that communication is the problem in your marriage, but I'm here to say it's probably not. Because if talking more would solve your problems, you could do that pretty easily. It's not communication that is the issue. It's the underlying patterns to the way that you communicate that are causing the problem. I want to explore two different kinds of patterns with you today that may be showing up in your marriage. The first pattern that I typically see are the couple who just say, we need to talk more, we need to talk more. But we're talking more. Why aren't our problems getting fixed? And I often find that couples who do a lot of talking in their marriage about their marriage have one benefit. They have more awareness of what's wrong in their relationship because they do a lot of talking about it. And awareness, of course, is the first step. Take David and Sarah. David is a talker. He believes that conversation is enough to fix things and that understanding the problem is solving it. But after 2 years of weekly state of the marriage talks, Sarah's tired of talking because nothing ever changes. That's because awareness is the first step. But awareness doesn't actually change anything. And that's why you're going to have one or more of you saying things like, haven't we already talked about this? Why do we keep saying the same things over and over? It feels like we're just talking in circles and we never get anywhere. You might even already be saying, I don't want to talk about this anymore. We talk. Nothing ever changes. The other partner might be saying, I'm trying to tell you what you want to hear. I'm trying to, create more opportunity for us to communicate, to understand each other, except that understanding hasn't led to implementation. I'm willing to do ABC. You're willing to do XYZ. Here's the time frame that we're going to do these things by, or maybe they are reoccurring. Here's how we're going to hold each other accountable to do those things. Here's when we are going to follow up on how well we're doing, because this isn't just a one-time conversation. If you don't have actionable steps, then what do you have? You have a conversation that's just circular. It never takes you anywhere. Trust isn't built in a relationship through talking. Trust is built through action and experience. Will you do what you say you're going to do? Will you be who you say you're going to be going forward? I need to see that demonstrated in what you actually do, not what you just say to me. That's pattern number one. Pattern number two, this is the couple who are very action-oriented. They always have a plan. When they sit down and talk about logistical things, they know who's doing what, they know when, they know where they're going, who's taking the kids there, who's paying the bills. They function, from the outside looking in, they function really well as a team. Michael and Renee, from the outside, they look like the gold standard. He handles the finances, she manages the kids' schedules. They take a family vacation every summer. When's the last time they laughed together? What they don't realize is that somewhere between the mortgage and the minivan and the school pickup line, they've stopped letting each other in. They've learned how to handle the logistics of life, but they've stopped sharing their inner world with each other. So they're talking a lot too, and they're getting things done, but their conversations are about tasks, finances, the kids, work, extended family, vacations coming up. What they're not talking about is, I miss you. I miss us. I miss the days when it was just you and I and no kids. Remember that? Remember when we could sleep in the mornings and we could stay up as late as we wanted, and we used to travel and be impulsive and go out? Man, that was so much fun. How can we get back to that? Even just a little bit. Not that we don't love our kids, not that we don't love the life that we have right now, but how can we go back to, they don't talk about that stuff anymore. They've drifted apart in terms of anything personal that they relate with each other. So they're handling life, they're handling the day-to-day, but they've lost any sense of connectedness with each other. What they need is an emotional language that has disappeared. They need to be able to communicate in terms of, here's what I'm feeling right now. I need to get back in touch with my own emotions about this marriage. What do I really feel? What am I really thinking? What do I really miss? What do I really long for? And then how can I learn to communicate that to my spouse again in a way that I haven't in months, years? How can I learn to open up to my spouse again and share what's really in my heart and feel safe enough to do that without being put down, made fun of, made to feel silly, stupid, to have my words and my feelings be minimized, or for my partner to get defensive and jump all over me? How can I get back to that again? A couple who doesn't have emotional vulnerability with each other, emotional safety with each other, grows apart. So even if they're handling life like two CEOs, great, what's happening to the actual language of their marriage and their sense of feeling close and connected to each other? You can run a household really well, but still starve your marriage emotionally. So we've got two very different marriages and two very different patterns. One doesn't know how to have heart level talk. The other doesn't know how to take that talk and turn it into real, tangible action for the marriage. Talking, but not changing. Managing, but not connecting. Marriage requires movement, and it also requires meaning. You and your spouse need more than just more words or more tasks. Remember the days when you hung off of each other's words and you couldn't get enough of each other? When every waking moment was either consumed with being together or thinking about the other person? You can recapture that. But first you have to even want that again, and you have to believe that it's possible. And that is exactly what God designed for your marriage. He didn't want or expect you to just settle into one of these two patterns and just coexist under the same roof going, I guess that's all there is now to our marriage. At least we manage the household well. Well, at least we talk a lot, even though we don't seem to get anywhere with our words. That's not what God intended, and that's not what you have to settle for. That's why I created my free guide, 3 Conversations That Can Save a Marriage. This is a great tool for getting real effective conversations started with your spouse, and you can start today. Just check out the link below, and that'll take you right to the handout.